Hi everybody, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome back to a brand new video and welcome back to more haunted stuff. Um, Welcome back to haunted stuff and haunted places and ghost hunting and ghost watching. Um, and welcome back to my channel. Anyway, I'm going to read another story. It's time for another ghost train story to be put on the Travel Channel by the Travel Channel Company. I I am going to I I am going to um um uh put this on the Travel Channel, put this um I hope the Travel Channel Company, can put this on the Travel Channel, and and um um and I also hope that it can be a documentary on the Travel Channel, and I hope it can be an episode too. So so the story that I'll be reading today is called The Seneth Ghost Light. The Seneth Ghost Light. The Seneth Ghost Light. And it comes to us from Missouri. It comes from Missouri. Um, it 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 comes from Missouri. It comes from Missouri. Um, and and uh it's about somebody who was run over by a train somewhere in the middle, and it's about a ghost train also, or somebody got run over by a train, excuse me. But anyway, but I am going to read this to you guys and then show you guys an example from the previous TV show Haunted Hotels, and it will give you an example of how ghost trains should look like on the Travel Channel. So without further ado, here's the Seneth Ghost Light. Here we go. The Seneth Ghost Light. This story comes from the state of Missouri. It originates it originates in Seneth, a town located on the old St. Louis San Francisco uh, Frisco Railway. According to John L. Yarbrough, Southeast Missouri is typical Mississippi River Delta country, low and flat. The only high ground you will ever see there will be a levee, an Indian mound, or a train track bed. Several years ago, a new interstate and bridge opened up southeast Missouri to Tennessee. Um, Before the bridge, there was the ferry. With the bridge came the opportunity for new friendships to form, and I met a few people who became really good friends. In the course of one of our conversation, ghost stories came, and they offered to take me out to see the Seneth Light. Way out in the middle of nowhere, in southeast Missouri, is a community called Seneth, pronounced Zenith, that has a most peculiar and famous ghosts. It seems this fellow was working for the railroad, and somehow or another there was a terrible accident where he was beheaded. Every night, just after midnight, you can drive to a point out in the country where the train bed crosses in front of you and see this light, which comes from around a bend, crosses slowly in front of you, turns around, and retraces its path. It goes on like this for hours, until just before daylight, when it disappears. The light is amber reddish glow, reminiscent of old time lanterns. Anyway, the light represents that beheaded man looking for his head. Now I've seen the light from a car, but I didn't get out for a closer look. Over the years, I've met a lot of people from the surrounding area who have seen the light. No explanation has ever been given other than the one above. So here's what the story actually tells. This person actually got to see the light. This person, his name is John L. Yarbrough. I think he lives in Missouri. And John L. Yarbrough got to see the Zenith ghost light for himself. And so he was telling his story. And he was telling his story about how he saw the Zenith ghost light. Anyway, this person got to tell his story, and this person got to tell his story about when he saw the Zenith ghost light, and he actually got to see it for himself, and it's about a man who was decapitated by a train and was beheaded by a train, and he returns to look for his head. So when you guys film Ghost Train, you'll have to put this person's name. You'll have to put John L. Yarbrough, and let him tell his story about when he saw the Zenith ghost light, and whoever the other person's name is, the one that got run over by a train, whatever his name is, it doesn't say. The name is unknown, but you'll have to let the story go back in time. You'll still have to do that, like always, and you'll have to show him be getting run over by a train, and show his apparition and show his ghost walking down the train track. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed that story. Now I'm going to show you guys an example from the previous TV show called Haunted Hotels, and it will give you an example of how Ghost Train ought to look like, and what it should look like on the Travel Channel when you guys put it on there. Okay? So watch this, and you will see of how Ghost Train, you will see of how Ghost Train should look like on the Travel Channel when you guys put it on there. Okay? All right? So here's haunted hotels. Here's haunted hotels.
Staying in old inns or stately homes are sometimes greeted with a ghost story, which can be charming or terrifying, depending on how the spirit moves them, and which room the spectre chooses to haunt. There are hotels in which the supernatural is every day. A hostelry where dead men really do tell tales.
Those eyes, those milky eyes, just kept drawing him in.
A hotel where a phantom's embrace leaves visitors gasping for breath.
It's a spirit that comes from the front and passes right through and leaves them.
And a guest house which is home to a little girl who is 12 years old forever.
She hates lights. She likes it when it's nice and dark.
Explore another side of the distant past, where ghosts search the night for answers and departed spirits walk once more. Older cities can be great for weekend breaks. Historic houses, cobblestone streets, comforting reminders of a simpler time. But in a haunted hotel, history really does come alive, and in rather unsettling ways. Nestled among groves of walnut trees, the Snowball Mansion Inn is the pride of Knights Landing, California. According to innkeepers Gerald and James Furing, in the 1870s, this Victorian Italianate villa was the grandest building in town.
Snowball Mansion is a very elegant lady facing the Sacramento River.
A little more than 100 kilometers northeast of San Francisco, this former family home delights guests with comfort and tradition. Its furnishings taken straight from the Victorian era.
We tried to make a guest feel that they were stepping back in time.
The mansion was built to last, constructed entirely from mud brick.
The mud was taken from the river, and it took 5 years for all the bricks to be made. Even the interior walls are brick.
Walls built to last for centuries. Walls that once muted an anguished cry, that now echoes through time. The haunting story of Snowball Mansion began more than a century ago, in the 1870s, when a businessman called John Snowball built this house for his bride, Lucy.
John and Lucy Snowball were very happy together. They spent a lot of their time in their home and enjoying the grounds, reading in the grove. The sound came from the land.
Before long, the couple was blessed with a daughter. For Lucy, the child was welcome company when John's business took him far from home.
I don't think it was easy for Lucy, and her husband was away on business a lot. So when he returned home, it was a special time for her to spend time with him.
Each time John returned from a trip, Lucy delighted in hearing about his travels. But on one night, this simple pleasure would rob the couple of their greatest joy.
John had just returned from his trip, and Lucy was glad to see him. She went in to spend some time with him after putting the baby down.
Lucy had intended to spend the night in her room next to the nursery, but the long day had taken its toll. She fell asleep beside John instead, listening to stories from his recent trip. Lucy slept peacefully, never dreaming of the dangers this night would hold for her infant daughter.
The walls being brick, They're very well insulated, so noise does not travel in a brick house.
In the morning, Lucy woke up and realized she had slept through the night in a bed far from her daughter's crib.
She immediately ran to check on the baby.
That night, the earthen bricks of their solid, secure home had muffled the cries of their child in the nursery.
That's where she found the baby. John! And the baby was not breathing.
Their daughter had died during the night.
When Lucy found her child dead, she was devastated and she blamed herself for not being in her room to hear the baby.
Lucy laid her daughter to rest, but her grief stayed with her. John struggled to lift his wife out of her sorrow, but the cheerful young woman he had married was gone.
I don't think Lucy ever forgave herself for losing her child. I think she felt guilty her whole life and went into a deep depression that she really never came out of. She stayed home and became a recluse. Lucy spent a lot of time in the nursery. For weeks, they would find her in there, sitting by the crib.
Though she lived into her 70s, Lucy Snowball took her grief with her to the grave. And according to some, even death has not brought Lucy peace. Ghostly events have led some to see her home in a different light. It seems that ghosts are guests who never leave, troubled spirits never at peace. Many visitors to California's Snowball Mansion Inn believe the spirit of Lucy Snowball still wanders, grieving for the daughter who died in the nursery so long ago.
All the children in Knight's Landing think it's the haunted house.
Even the current owners feel there is more to this mansion than meets the eye.
The oddest feelings is when windows rattle.
It's common for the windows of old houses to rattle in the wind. But at Snowball Mansion, the pattern is most uncommon.
The windows will start rattling one at a time upstairs, and they'll go across the front of the house, down the house, to the front door, and around the side of the house. People that aren't used to it or have never seen it are quite startled by it.
Those who hear Lucy's sad story believe they know the reason for the shuddering windows.
It seems sometimes that Lucy attempts to awaken guests so that they can check on their family to prevent maybe another tragedy.
Lucy's warnings can take many forms: rattling doors and windows, smoke detector alarms. They say sometimes she even comes to the front door.
In the early evening, at dusk, the doorbell will ring, and I've gone to answer the door, and nobody's there. I'll step out onto the porch, look around, nobody's there. And you kind of get an odd little feeling.
Some guests report that Lucy's activities go far beyond rattling windows and ringing bells.
About 25 years ago, a renter lived in that room, and he started seeing Lucy appearing to him.
It always happened in the middle of the night when she would come, and he would wake up and see her. It made him feel very uncomfortable, and he eventually moved.
Recent guests at the inn say they've spotted Lucy, still trying to do the best for her baby.
Guests told us that Lucy's ghost had come through the wall where a doorway leading into the nursery had once been. I believe Lucy is still in the house because she has never really gotten over the loss of her child. She is still roaming these 3 rooms.
Guests sense Lucy's spirit is veiled in sorrow. But on rare
Okay,
occasions-
so I'm gonna go ahead and stop right there I'm gonna go ahead and stop right there. The Seneth Ghost Light has to look like that. It has to look like that is what the Seneth Ghost Light has to look like in Ghost Train and Ghost Train. That you saw the story of did you see of how the story went back in time to the 1880s and the 1800s and stuff like that in haunted hotels? Well, that's what the Seneth Ghost Light has to do. That's what the Seneth Ghost Light has to do. It has to show the apparition and the ghost itself and the story going back in time like you saw in haunted hotels to when the railroader had his accident and stuff like that. Okay, all right. And then after that, it has to show him. After that, it has to show him walking down the train tracks. So when you put it on there, let the story go. When you put Ghost Train as a documentary, and when you put the Seneth Ghost Light episode in there, let the story go back in time. Okay? And let the apparition of the ghost itself and the railroader appear. Okay? All right? So I hope you guys enjoyed that story. I'll be back in a few minutes to do some more Ghost Train stories and so forth. So please give this video a thumbs up. This will be on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and on my YouTube channel. And give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.